Salty stench of sea and chilling gale at my back awakened me from a disturbed dream. Dream filled with familiar voices and fear for my life.
What's that smell? Kinda musty.
Kinda dusty.
Kinda rusty?
Kinda oily, too.
Must be time to clean out the old vaporizer.
Ah, yes. This one's a true magnum opus.
12 stories tall and completely constructed of 90-degree angles.
Welcome to Backlog Quest, where we two-step through the pitfalls of our embarrassingly overstuffed game libraries. My name is Boss Sauce.
And I'm Roland Kunz. And together, we are the Two-Headed Hero.
Tighten up your bolts and hold on to your top hats. Today's Backlog Quest focuses in on Vaporum, the journey of an amnesic pest control professional. After waking up on a particularly cozy patch of wet rocks, our intrepid roach wrecker realizes he has a clear choice to make. Either step inside the doors of this unwashed mechanical nightmare or await a murky death at the bottom of the sea. Our mouse-mashing hero proceeds to double duty as the Titanic Tower's handyman, rearranging cargo, fixing engines, and eradicating various other OSHA hazards throughout his journey. At every turn, he battles a variety of horrific delusions. Overgrown cockroaches, bloodthirsty spider toasters, and even the odd psychotic lamp. Truly, Vaporum aims to place the player face to face with the terrifying repercussions of a massive, memory loss causing head wound. Today we gaze upon Vaporum, another entry into the growing revival of new grid-based dungeon crawlers. This genre has deep roots, reaching all the way back to the graph paper beginnings of RPGs themselves, and many old grognards still carry fond memories of titles such as Eye of the Beholder. One of my personal all-time favorites, Lands of Lore: The Throne of Chaos, remains enjoyable even to this day.
Look at all those orcs. It's a lot.
Bam. The genre went back underground following the onslaught of first-person shooters, seeing few releases of note for several years. That is, until the 2012 indie title, Legend of Grimrock, reignited interest in this particular style of gameplay. Grimrock opened the floodgates for dozens of similar grid-based CRPGs in the indie game space. Vaporum is a 2017 entry into the rediscovered realm of dungeon crawlers from small Slovakian developer Fatbot Games. Over the past couple years, the game has undergone many improvements and has now found a new life on consoles. This week brought us the console releases on Xbox One, PS4, and the Nintendo Switch. So, how is it? Let's lace up those corsets and dig right in. Rather than controlling a party of adventurers, Vaporum players are stuffed into the clanky brass boots of a single survivor. From the get-go, you strap yourself into one of 4 different work rigs, roll up your cummerbund, and get to work. Combat generally plays out in real time, with actions, movements, and attacks having both a wind-up and a cooldown, but the action can be paused at the tap of a button when encounters get hot.
So dude, you cloud chasing with this thing? It's gigantic. I got the vape tongue now, but before I quit, it would cost me like 50 bars of gold just to fill up the tank.
I had to go cheap. The tank's got my own special blend that I like to call Fumium. But it kinda tastes like ass juice. Been a while since I used it though.
Yeah, looks like it. Wait, what the hell is that thing?
Shit, they've flooded the atomizer. Grab a brush and get ready to scrub. It's about to get messy. The addition of native controller support is an excellent one. Since Vaporum lands squarely in a genre long dominated by keyboard and mouse controls, I was blown away by how well this works. Left trigger is mapped as a sort of modifier key for major functions, and right trigger brings up a free cursor to help you suss out secret buttons and levers. Inventory management is also fairly minimal. The grid-based movement on a joystick can feel a little strange at first, but once you're accustomed to it, you'll be flying down Vaporum's rusty hallways and sidestepping its angry denizens with ease. Navigation isn't all sunshine and rainbows, though. Vaporum completely lacks a compass in the UI, and the automap feels pretty bare bones. Even the creaky old dungeon crawlers it emulates had better versions of these features. As it is, players might find themselves referring to the map pretty often, which can break up the action. Visually, Vaporum approaches style over realism. I mean, we are talking about a fantasy steampunk horror setting here. There's a good amount of detail in the environments. Various valves and other greebles line the walls and help bring the setting to life. The odd stray toolbox, forgotten book, or discarded trinket gives the game a lived-in look. There's a few lackluster textures here and there, but the style is quite cohesive, even if it can be a bit dark. Enemy models have some unique designs that fit the theme, sporting brass cogs and smoking furnaces galore. There's occasional stiff animations when an enemy is moving, likely exacerbated by Vaporum's grid-based movement system. It would have been nice to have some sort of swinging animation for the weapons rather than just the white streak that flashes across the screen, but this is a pretty common approach to weapon animations in crawlers of this caliber, and overall it's a small nitpick. On the sound side, Vaporum has fairly adequate effects. There's a satisfying clang when club meets automaton or when your rig gadgets send forth waves of lightning. Music is nearly non-existent, save for some industrial noise track during boss fights and a very catchy main menu song. This more subdued approach definitely lends itself to the horror overtones, but I still would have liked a little more mood music. Vaporum also contains a fairly large amount of voice work throughout its short length. Most of these reside in the internal dialogue of the player character and audio logs that litter the environments, as we've seen in BioShock or System Shock.
A phono diary. Maybe with these I'll learn more about this place.
My Marcus was chosen by the Bureau to lead the Vaporum, which is under construction out there on the high seas right now.
The voiceover work serves to add a step of polish and immersion, and it helps Vaporum rise above the normal expectation of a small team indie game.
The Bureau had granted me a scholarship, which I gladly repaid by pledging to work in the Vaporum for a 7-year term. My dreams came true.
Now, if you fall into any of these pits in your dab rig, you go down the dab hole. Do you want to see what happens?
Yeah, let's adventure down the dab hole with me. Oh, you just die.
Yeah.
That's like a 6-foot drop.
First and foremost, this game will wreck you. Even on normal difficulty, players are going to be tested. Each enemy encounter can easily bring your hapless handyman to his knees or drain your scarce resources. Oh, what's that? Oh, another spider. Okay, no biggie.
Then I'm gonna say it's probably like Cuisinart.
Yep. That's how they made them back in the day.
Spidery.
Yeah, they made them spidery. Oh shit. No,
Oh, no.
What did I do? How do I get out? Oh no! Oh, it stops there. Still on the bright side, there's numerous difficulty settings, including a casual mode that makes combat completely trivial and allows Vaporum to be completed as a puzzle game. Vaporum's devious puzzles stand between you and the top of the spire. While most of these are well constructed and pretty enjoyable, several involve some tedious crate pushing. For me, the box shoving puzzles were the most frustrating and they brought the game's pace to a crawl. On the bright side, many of the levels also contain secrets, and some contain secrets within secrets, which is naturally where all the best stuff can be found. The completionist in me felt compelled to poke and prod at the game's dark corners in search of hidden switches and concealed treasures. Well worth it considering the risk that combat presents. Vaporum has a heaping amount of skill trees to focus on, and the early choices are the most important ones. You'll need to zero in on 1 or 2 skill trees at most, and at least one of those should involve some sort of survivability. I loved how the skill bonuses gave out some nice, meaty numbers, making it feel like a real accomplishment upon your level up. Unfortunately, Vaporum keeps with true old school design here and offers no respec options, so you'll need to take extra care with your choices when you level up. Once I gained enough experience, Fumium, to flesh out my rig build, the combat became pretty enjoyable. I went with a dual-wield build, and two-fisting flintlocks or pummeling the various bots and abominations with clubs and crowbars was pretty satisfying. The enemies tend towards damage sponginess, but encounters are normally small. Therefore, you'll have to learn to sidestep your way around the combatants to defeat them with a sound combination of positioning, attacks, and ability use. Much of Vaporum's challenge lies in the lack of healing skills. Repair kits are hidden in the levels or dropped by enemies, but they're precious few. Abilities can be attained in the mid-game to drain life from foes, but the risk of combat must be weighed carefully. Unlike many old-school crawlers, there's no rest feature or healing spells. By leaning on puzzles and exploration, and making the battles risky, Vaporum has much more in common with survival horror game mechanics than it does with the dungeon hacks of old. While it's easy to dismiss 2017's Vaporum as another Me Too entry, developer Fatbot Games has taken some heavy strides here to differentiate their dungeon diver from the growing pack. Vaporum leans towards a Lovecraftian survival horror approach and coats it in a grimy steampunk veneer. For those looking to face down armed automatons and brutal behemoths within a labyrinth of perplexing puzzles, Vaporum is a solid choice. And for those that are looking for a challenge, they will certainly find it here.
Well, I'm exhausted. That was a whole lot of roach.
Yeah, and we are but a single two-headed freaky giant.
Let's find a place to chill out for a sec. Watch your step, though. It's dark and there's a ton of... Ah!
Oh, my head. Where are we? Who are you? What are we doing here?
I think it had something to do with a vape? Voop?
Vooping? Oh, you trying to rip some chunky clouds?
Wait. It was
So, do you dive into these types of dungeon crawlers, or will free movement always be king? If you've got a fond memory or a genre favorite, leave it in the comments for us. We love hearing from you guys. And again, thanks for watching Backlog Quest. As always, if you like the channel, please hit subscribe and share our videos on social media. A little bit goes a long way, and we really appreciate it. My name is BAWSS, and we'll see you on the next Two-Headed Hero.